Adoatv, bringing good things to life.
Good evening to you. You're welcome to the evening news bulletin right here on Adoatv. My name is Anastasia Badu, and we're streaming live on Facebook, Adoatv Ghana, YouTube, Adoatv GH. You can also log on to our website on adoanewsonline.com. Now let's see our top stories for tonight. The Minority Voter Caucus of Parliament has expressed disappointment over President Akufo-Addo's silence over the Keta tidal waves that has displaced thousands of residents and called on appropriate authorities to intervene. Now, government has been urged to fulfill its promise of rehabilitating the Accra-Nsawam Railway. And in business, REDD Intelligence has said that the government could turn to the Bank of Ghana for financing if it fails to enter the international capital market next year to issue a Eurobond. And in sports tonight, we throw the spotlight on some amateur boxers in Akotoku, a suburb of Accra, who wants to pursue a career in boxing. We've got details of these stories right here on the Evening News Bulletin. The news is brought to you by Verna Natural Mineral Water, Blue Sea Tiles and Accessories, CB Herbal Center. My name is Anastasia Badu. Now to the details. The chairman for the Minority Voter Caucus, Emmanuel Kwesi Bezra, has called on the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to expedite immediate steps to render intervention to affected communities by the recent tidal waves in the Volta region. According to him, at least 3,000 people in Keta municipality have been rendered homeless after the tidal wave swept through their homes on Sunday dawn. The scene he narrated is very sad and nothing good to write home about.
Under the Keta constituency, you have Kaji Copper, Jalu Copper, Abutia Copper, Keta Central, Tete Copper, and Tetebi Copper. Woke up, Mr. Speaker, only for the tidal wave or the sea taking over their homes. Mr. Speaker, as a result of that, majority of the people were homeless, were made homeless as a result of the tidal waves. Their properties were washed away, their livelihoods were taken away. Yesterday, in the company of my colleagues, we visited the affected communities. And Mr. Speaker, it is heartbreaking to see homes that we visited just 3 months ago down the line were all washed away, demolished completely by the sea erosion. Mr. Speaker, this calls for urgent attention by the government. Right, Mr. Speaker, those affected communities amounted to about 1,200 people from the NADMO's calculation, and over 500 houses were all demolished.
Residents were forced out of their homes and rendered homeless, while others salvaged some of their belongings onto portions of the main road waiting for the water to recede. The whole legislator lamented that no intervention by the central government nor NADMO was given as at the time they visited the scene.
As of yesterday, when we were going around, Mr. Speaker, we did not receive any intervention either from NADMO nor from the central government. And people were made homeless, sleeping either in church building And some people do not even have places to sleep. No, as it were, mattresses, nor blankets, nor any logistics given to these people. And as we speak now, nothing has gone to this community or to the affected people in the community. Mr. Speaker, it is heartbreaking seeing my colleague, especially Honorable Jifa Gumashi, weeping yesterday, calling on His Excellency the President to come to the aid of the people. In fact, she made it emphatically that she has made a statement on this floor. She has asked questions on this floor. And the Minister for Western Housing was there to witness it. But as at yesterday, not even the Minister of Western Housing, neither the Minister of Interior visited the people, leaving them, oh God, in the hands of the weather.
Describing the situation as heartbreaking, he hence, on behalf of the affected communities, called for immediate intervention.
With this, Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of the House to quickly call for an intervention as a matter of urgency to the people of the three constituencies, the Ketu South constituency, the Keta constituency, and Anglo constituency, as a matter of urgency, so that the people can at least have a place to rest, have a place to prepare their meal, and also at least government should serve them a hot meal, something that can relieve them of their pain in their community.
For item 6A, IV, to be laid by the Minister responsible.
Catholic Bishops' Conference has called on President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo to take immediate steps to halt the wanton dissipation of the country's resources by politicians and their cronies for personal gains. The president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Philip Name, who made the call at this year's plenary assembly of the association in Wa, said the practice has led to high perceived corruption, which is taking a toll on the national economy and worsening the poverty situation in the country.
There are concerns about good governance generally and especially in the management of public resources for the common good. Perceived corruption and corruptible practices by politicians and other politically exposed persons are taking a toll on the national economy and making the poverty situation to grow more dismal and progressively. Poverty is grinding down millions of people all over the country. Prices of essentials are rising daily. People seem to struggle to keep families and lives together. Though poverty stares us in the face, it appears lost to those with power. The express commitment of the President of the Republic to protect the public purse, a promise that citizens welcomed, seems to be an illusion now. Are those managing the public purse not concerned about waste and misapplication of resources that belong to all Ghanaians? Can this be referred to as irresponsible use of power or the lack of empathy and compassion? Here I wish to say that power can be used to destroy or to build, to heal or to bind a people together. It can also be used for self-glorification and gratification or selfless public service. Power can hurt, power can help. It can do good or do harm. Power does good to the general society when it is used with compassion, empathy, truthfulness, humility, care, and justice. On the other hand, if it is used for self-glorification and self-gratification, it will ultimately disintegrate the moral fabric of any society and breed violence and chaos.
The Konongo District Court has remanded 5 accused persons arrested in connection with the death of a first-year male student of the Konongo Dumase Senior High School. The suspects have been sent to a juvenile detention center at Dwaso in the Asante Achim South Municipality to reappear on November 15, 2021. The first accused person has been charged provisionally with murder, while the 4 others were charged with abetment to commit a crime.
The court, presided over by Her Lordship Joyce Bamfo, has referred the matter to the supervising High Court judge to ensure due processes are followed because of the ages of the accused persons. The court granted the plea by the police to remand the juveniles after they asked for more time to investigate the matter. 2 of the accused persons are 16 years, while the other 3 are 17 years. Speaking to journalists, the Konongo Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Shaibu Osei, says the police has put together a team of investigators to look at the matter speedily.
By the Juvenile Justice Act, you cannot remand them over and above 7 days. That's why they were remanded for only 7 days. So if it were to be adult or adult, it would have been about 2 weeks. We have within 6 months per the Juvenile Justice Act to finish trial. For that reason, we have put up an investigation team because you don't want one person to do the investigation then slow down proceedings. So the command has added 2 other investigators, a chief inspector and 1 inspector, to the original investigator to ensure that we are within the time.
However, lawyer for the prime suspect, Richard Edudakon, said they are committed to the process and look forward to returning to court next week to argue out their case.
Ordinarily, I mean, when you go through such an experience, especially they being very young people, they are very remorseful. You could see from their faces and that of their parents. But it's unfortunate we had to go through this. 2 of them are 16 years and other 3 are 17. So they will not go through the normal process that anybody like an adult will go through. So you realize that the court even closed its doors to everybody, including even those users of the court, for them to stay out. So they cannot go through the normal process just like any other person because they are very young.
Bullying has been an old order. It has been with us time immemorial, but it doesn't go to this extent. So this is very serious. And therefore, we will task our counselors to talk to them, to always counsel them against bullying.
I would like to assure all parents whose children are in my school that their children are in safe hands. There is calm in school as you came to witness. It's rather unfortunate that this happened. They must not entertain any fear. They must pray and support us, and I know that we shall overcome this.
The police on November 6, 2021 arrested the 5 students for allegedly stabbing a first-year colleague to death. The 17-year-old deceased student was a first-year gold track student of the Konongo Odumase Senior High School.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Yawase Duchim, has stressed that bullying in schools belongs to the past and has no place in modern times. He strongly condemned, the manner in which 2nd and 3rd year students in some senior high schools bullied the freshers, known in local parlance as homos.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, has stressed that bullying in schools belongs to the past and has no place in modern day. He condemned the manner in which 2nd and 3rd year students in some senior high schools bullied the freshers, known in local parlance as homo, done to welcome fresh students into the senior high schools. Dr. Educhum said such acts of indiscipline should not be tolerated in the 21st century. Rather, the right environment devoid of intimidation should be created for students to perform well academically. The Education Minister indicated that such act had led to some students being mimed, citing the recent case at the Konongo Odumasi Senior High School where an alleged bullying had led to the death of a student. Dr. Adoatv expressed regrets that bullying scenarios had been part of the school culture, but the time has come for us to end this because homo is a thing of the past. Speaking at a public lecture in Accra Monday on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, education for socio-economic transformation, Dr. Adoatv stressed that we have to understand that we are each other's keeper and we should not be oppressors of our brothers and sisters. The minister therefore urged students in schools to desist from those acts by creating a welcoming atmosphere for each student in school and not become the oppressors. The time has come for us to end this. That homo in schools is a relic of the past and it should not have space in this century. First, students who go to school should be treated like brothers and sisters, and if you are in Form 2 or 3, you should be his or her keeper, the minister charged student. Dr. Adoatv recounted how he had the sad occasion of talking to the parents of deceased before the lecture, saying it is a very sad moment indeed and a strong discipline regime should prevail in our schools. The minister expressed condolences to the bereaved family and said that the sector ministry would liaise with the law enforcement agencies to allow justice to prevail. Touching on infrastructural development to enhance STEM for the socio-economic transformation of the country, Dr. Adoatv stated that the sector ministry was building 11 model STEM senior high schools across the country. Each of the schools would be equipped with 12 laboratories that would be one of the best.
Still on education, government has promised to make STEM teaching in rural areas more attractive by introducing incentive packages for STEM teachers who are posted to rural areas. This was revealed by Education Minister Dr. Adoatv.
Things are shifting, things are changing. And what do we need to do? What we need to do is to change our education system to meet that need. And to meet that need means that we need to focus on STEM education. We have to address incentives for teachers in rural areas. Ghana Education Service is working on this issue, and I want them to speed it up so that that system can be created, so that there will be no school in this country without a teacher. So the infrastructure that we are doing is to reform systems that are already in place in our regular schools, as we also build facilities that will ensure that STEM can truly be practiced. Ensure that in areas where there are E-blocks and there are no dorms, of course E-blocks didn't come with dorms, there are no facilities for students to come there and for the schools to be operationalized, we are building dormitory blocks so that the E-blocks can also be operationalized for the benefit of the Ghanaian student. Those resources that were used in building the E-blocks were the resources of this nation. And the president has directed that we do everything possible to ensure that in cases where the E-blocks were not built in the middle of town and the schools cannot be opened because students cannot just walk there, as is the case of Drobonso, gross tertiary enrollment ratio is one important metric that if you can track, you know your country is changing. So Ghana is 18.8%, South Korea is 96.3%, and that is why the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, during the last State of the Nation address, told the country that he wants to move the gross tertiary enrollment ratio of Ghana from the current 18.8% to 40% by 2030.
Go back to the voter region, and members of parliament from both sides of the house have also added their voices calling on government to expedite rapid investigations. While MPs whose communities are affected called for the completion of the sea defense, others also called on NADMO, the Interior Minister, Minister for Works and Housing, among others, to intervene. However, others called for massive education on some activities by residents living along coastal areas must be aware of.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't cry only because I have enough tears. I cried because I thought of the people I went to with the Minister for Roads, for Works and Housing. I went to those communities with him. I went to the same communities with His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. And yesterday when I got there, those homes were all gone. All I saw were piles of blocks as remnants of what is left of people's homes. I imagined what would have happened if it was my home, because I live by the coast in Aflau. My house is not more than less than a kilometer from the sea. And I was terrified that should I have gone home and found my house reduced to blocks, what would I have done? I've heard my colleagues, and I thank them, but I want His Excellency the President to hear me too. I've been speaking. He can't say he hasn't heard me. I'm urging this House to stand by the people of Katu South. Stand with us in this time of grief, in this time of devastation. Cold comfort never warmed any heart. What will warm our hearts is to see that indeed the contractors have moved to site, that indeed within the shortest possible time, the so-called place that has been found will have a temporary structure put up for the people to find a place to lay their heads.
Those three constituencies, and it calls for immediate government intervention. Mr. Speaker, I listened to the news this morning. About 15 communities were affected, and from the news bulletin, NADMO had not visited those communities as at yesterday, per what I heard on CTFM, which is not very good, Mr. Speaker. The tidal waves along the coastal belt, which is about 500 kilometers across this country, that is from the Anglo side of the country to Alubo, ought to be given the requisite attention, Mr. Speaker. I read today's Times and the graphic, and I read that the minister was making a pledge on behalf of government that government will have to raise funds to complete the 8 kilometers of coastal sea defense or coastal protection within that enclave.
My colleague mentioned about Sarakopa. That is a community we went, but as we speak now, that community is no more existing. It's gone. And then the road, if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, the road leading from Habeji to Denu will be cut off. And at the end of the day, the whole enclave of Kita Lagoon to Afiarenba to Abo, when the sea take over, we will not be able to actually remedy the situation. So the permanent solution to this problem is phase 2. Central government have to resume phase 2 of the Keta Sea Defense Project, which is under the caption Blekusu Project. Mr. Speaker, looking at the whole thing as at now, Minister of Works and Housing or Minister of Works and Housing, nobody from that outfit visited the people. Ministry of Interior, which mandate under the NADMO, under the Ministry of Interior, as I'm speaking, no official from that ministry visited the people. Are they not Ghanaians? Are we not Ghanaians? Then why the central government is not being responsive to our plight? Mr. Speaker, it's a statement of fact. I'm not just speaking as a layman, just saying anything. Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking as somebody who has knowledge in climate change. I have studied to the highest level of climate change, and I'm telling you, what they do that is causing tidal waves. And you must pay attention. I am telling you that various activities that is causing much of this problem in our coastal areas. And it is important, all of us. I'm not sure it is only my sister who lives in the coastal line. There are a lot of people, my colleagues here, they also, some of them are from coastal constituency. And this message, I am sending it to all of them, that they can all help. We need to educate our people in our various areas, that we can also help to save some of the situation.
Members, I think this is a very important statement, and I believe the contributions, apart from few tangential issues, have been okay. I think we will never leave this unattended to. So we are making reference, we are referring this particular statement to the Committee on Works and Housing. Please immediately meet and report to this House. I would have wished that the Minister for Works and Housing is here, but he's not here. We also encourage him to come and tell the House something. But please meet. If you have to visit the site, do that and let the House hear something from you as soon as practicable.
And now away from the Volta region to some other stories. It says rehabilitation of the Accra-Samam Railway was expected to reopen for passenger services by the end of August 2021, according to the then Minister for Railway Development, Mr. Peter John Ameru, when they appeared in Parliament. But the deadline was extended due to unforeseen circumstances. The line serves as a means of transportation for residents of Nsawam traveling to the Central Business District of Accra, and activities on the line ceased in October 2017 when a Tema-Accra-bound train derailed at Tesano. Traders are calling for the railway to be fixed to take strain off road network.
Some traders at the railway station expressed their concerns about the use of the train and the state of the railway station as they spoke to Adoa News. According to Yababy, boarding a train was less expensive and time efficient as compared to other commercial transport. Hence, she is urging government to walk the talk and fulfill its promise of rehabilitating the Accra and Nsawam Railway.
Time na mete Nsawam no me kwa me fu train because me fu car na choro no traffic wom na afi so no boy den train so esan kwa fast ne boy no so wo fom nti me kwa me fu train minim yati nyama bi asese wo ho nti enye adwuma biom nti aka na me fu ese car ya me kofu yi me di be 3 hours 4 hours wo kwan so na me nu fie nti me bre pa nti me be se train enye adwuma sra aban na kufu ado se o se ye nto abama no kantamantofo ya to abama no e ma wa wini a omra no maye tie ni ye mayen ne yenfo train no se train ya ye wa nyina train na yefo en na e ma ye kontem nti o maye mayen onye kwan na mayen no onye train mayen ye pa ne chopa.
Yababy is not in this alone. Stephen also added that with the rehabilitation of the Accra Nsawam Railway, it will help reduce the heavy traffic situation on the Accra Nsawam Road.
Say kase train ni car dey and Quebec say train is far better. Say ya ye train kwan ni ye any ya station ni bibie ye dia. And Quebec say train ni far better. Because train no eco fast. And I know traffic be ni ho eche na wo hwe na mre say e fancy bia. Me person meti Medina from Medina to here and I say sisi amapon amekoi. So hwe traffic am FM ne be take me more than 2-3 hours and sana metumi adufie It is a tray wahwa. Yefa se offer tray fi na usi wa tete kwashi krampo na. But within 20 minutes, you know, no way to me across South traffic ni nyina. It is here tray there is far better. Se obefo chance se obefo car. Yefa car ni yedeko. Enti yebeka se ni pape mu pa de government bi obebe bi anase aban na oteso no. On make sure say obeye tray kwan ni ye. Na fensu se beye ye aban na nkasa ntu nani no mehwe ade bi. Because we a new tray kwan omo aye. But se oba na obehwe se nia ha city a is very bad. Because ukacho obi say tray kwan omo aye fufuro ni a is west. Because first na ha kra antisa. Say nso to kra ntumi mfa ha nyina yiri. Nti I think say adwuma no contractor no ye adwuma no ye ndie not.
Rosemary had an opinion too to share.
Train adwuma de mboa Ghana for kra because train nke ye adwuma nke betimi de bia siesie asem amobo e mahun se na ha ekọ train susu eboa e ma yetimi siesie oman mu ukọ abroche kra asa na mo ye no train fair na no anom de siesie oman ni mu train adwuma de happen ti yesre omo mboa na train timi nkọ from Ghana Accra to North eho nyina ekwa yebenya sika because anya kakra ebegigi no yebetimi dia ye bibia boa train way for no so ati ase kira ban no ende train de ye hu hia Ghana for pan yesre na yebuo ni anidiem omeye man kama na afa de bibia ntodin because train way wa o de se oba ha odi wani abehu bi enko yie ma Ghana for na train so ye adwuma keteke no enum kakra wa ne ye de be den ye de be bibi say school for free education ni nyina ebetimi de bi atuatua o say hwe nkɔhwe ma ye be dan atua.
Statistics of youth unemployment continue to spike as the number of graduates from various tertiary institutions do not match up with the job space available, especially in the public sector. Is entrepreneurial skills training the way to go? Some section of Ghanaians have been sharing their thoughts.
Aban de mini adwin say mama me back to school. Aban so uko school ya chia ubetcha school fees ni yama. Nti se me ban back to school 5 years. Obawie na wonya adwuma ya. Ene me ba no ntena fie. Sika na go to school. Say paso bi anisu. Nti we no mo me the business bo mama me ba no yam wa. I think say no mo ye better. You see the business bi so to ade kura po business. Pure water kura udi usu akwa business ta wo. So when me say aduane usu a uto ade pure water 1 cedi ukwa so 2 cedi onu say no so business so uto ukwa to me 5 na 10 na wanya 1 cedi unse no so business kaka na bibia mo a wo ya na bibia cost fine
so kasa de mo because me ye we obi nsu ye wan na beto ni dia ma e was obi nye government work no to me nya ska no beto ade ma ya yensu ye wo market no. They say brother wakita jeans, me so me kita bi. Omo amutwe nyina obi akita bia. Obanya sika de atobi. Ento me nya sika, ento mbo modern man no create adwuma na ye ma no so nya adwuma ye. Why? Na nyina ye ma no nyina na ekọ university ba ko no. Wow. E bia openi bi wo ho a obi ti class ni ba kra ni made e che no. Nso onye peni ba nti ye mfa no nkotena wo nti ye pa no cho. Ye de ye bompa ye se na membie na adwum no ma ne nyansa no ntumi create adwuma ne bi mmaye. Na ye man nso nkoye no nso monya busumi akecho na nso yenya bi why because me ntumi betina wiaso a me de be hwa me ba na ono nso betina wiaso sa say mobo
aban no kan sa o kan wrong e de che say youth no ye fa den en se adwuma e sika ne bi no mo to sika no mo kwa no mo chedi wo soro enti ade no mo ma sika ne en fa ye adwuma na ye sori a ye nya o life mo no mo se ye en fa adwuma ye de ne bi ana bi se se afu okura wo do a ye de sika na ye de edo enti bisa say adwuma ye de ne bi almost 31 days per almost billions of cedis no o man nya o mo dia na o mo chichedi o mo nyune yan abrochi no mo bu man ye nya ne sa o hye ye say ye so obi hye dem ye fum 6 months kra o man ye den ye tua ne ka eno de o mo nwe ho ye say o mo zo mbadwen ye yutu no ho e so da mo di mrofo na chi na o mo sua mrofo no entade ehu hia na o mo hyehye mo sua ene krono a o mo bo no mo de mrofo no ye o man no pum etumpon no de o mo sua enti ze de mrofo no hwe yutu no dwuna mo no e so mo zo mo sua mrofo no na o mo so mo dwen yutu no o president of this is oba yesu abi enuma be there more than 3,000 or something youth no adwuma wa America dadadawo but wasan ye de abi aka ho More than mobile, more than Mompana for them to Quania Mompana. 31 days, no much chase cano. Now you to need a bread about 2 another bread. 2 million, and 1 million, I say Manchester boss. You 2 mamma we are. Football 2 million, and 1 week Nasa. A school now, Economica, first near Freddy be said practical day. Yako school. Some back Kaya, near craft day or Obeti my obedient, obedient clay by Junior, the Onimu, obedient to Tomba, the Onim. What I say, at the end of the day, even your best craft of the day, was away. The air and a Buanina, a fast to be my Amrophone, the Omode, Jumana, no. Say, I changes our craft day, no more career day. Say, a do so, Obazo Soja, no Cotosoja Tadias, and Yansa Benum. Tetanaya craft day, and a man sent to the over Numa, Junior with a collaborative future. It's your own unity, and first year, Junino. Nam why, now you to me, so yes, craft at some makers says, our craft day is some of the bar. Ebema obia hu nipa bia at the end of the day no ubehun de nipa na woni mu opese oyipi sa na mrofo no me ye enti ama osa opportunity na ubetime yi ebi ana bibi papa wo mu what I say now the aba na man no afa na mo de tumpon en na ma ebu o man a ye de e man no koso enye de brofo akese na mo keke ka no
mo de nka asempa nanso zeze na man na yo mo no de ezigafo na mu didi je ye hiafo no because kame me kuta sikabo tin bia ana me kuta nsa no duma bia metimi dia hyem no maye enza me ya megina ho ya me ni bi ana me so me gina me niam ho a me to na kakara endi zeze me nua bia ko school awie e bia ko vocational school ana ze bia technical no wako mafanse school fees dodo a watue na obeba na onya duma ye no ko kreti na enza no aduma na ze sika no okofo he no de kreti se aduma edi gaba no so beboa na bia akwara no be wie school na bia obenye sika bo tin bia o ene wako sua vocational wako e bia technical edi se gisika weze na de wo so wetim obetimi dia ye no wodi sika na support o mo dia eno mo ne better since there obewie keke no obewie school keke no onya aduma ze wa go kreti wonza aduma bi na okonye sika we no de kreti enti ano de omo kan de no kwaso na so sika no so enhu hia ze nkombe so ye youth na sense ye kuta bibi ni ya eno mo betimi de sika na support aye eno mo ye better.
And that's it for this segment. We'll go for a quick break. We'll return shortly with some updates in business. My name is Anastasia Badu. Stay with us.
CB will make up now. Amaka correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. Who anymore? Oh, middle. You captures back on CB men capsules. Me see CB men capsules na make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules na ye nim ni dada. And one year packaging na ye the
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules no packaging is out. And you also no mood any bianza na wakodo mpegi.
Share painful any about town man kwada no for. Any kwada won di fie du ye. Enka ho.
Susanna. Ghana man man tamase.
Adoa 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje edwedin kato yato.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Welcome back from the break to the business segment and to our first story. The government could turn to the Bank of Ghana for financing if it fails to enter the international capital market next year to issue a Eurobond. International Research Institution REDD Intelligence has said. This is coming despite the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, ruling out a provision of more loans to the government to help narrow the budget shortfall, saying it would put exchange rate stability at risk. But REDD Intelligence says the lack of Eurobond financing raises the questions of which other funding sources are available for the government to finance the budget deficit and upcoming debt maturities. The central bank, according to REDD Intelligence, had stated in September 2021 that it had an understanding with the Ministry of Finance that a third of $1 billion special drawing rights from the International Monetary Fund is on lend to the government. To this end, REDD Intelligence said the governor had directed the central bank's research department to make the necessary adjustment and not to classify that type of financing as central bank financing because of the source of funding. The Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Ghana COPEC, has called on Ghanaians to put pressure on Parliament to enact a law to curtail the powers of the Finance Minister to impose unnecessary taxes on the petroleum sector. Mr. Amoa said the continuous increase in petroleum products and the imposition of unnecessary taxes over the years has been frustrating.
The Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, has called on Ghanaians to put pressure on Parliament to enact a law to curtail the powers of the Finance Minister to impose unnecessary taxes on the petroleum sector. Mr. Amoa said the continuous increase in petroleum products and the imposition of unnecessary taxes over the years has been frustrating. According to him, there's a need for the powers of the Finance Minister to impose unnecessary taxes in the petroleum sector to be curtailed. In support of the calls by commercial transport operators for the tax on fuel prices to be removed for the downward reduction in the price of fuel, he said only last year the Finance Minister imposed 2 taxes, including boiler tax on petrol. Adding these unnecessary taxes on petrol pricing in the country has contributed to the cost build-up on the commodity. The unnecessary taxes, if removed, he said, will save Ghanaians on spending their savings on fuel. He urged that what must be done to make the price of petrol stable in the country is to curtail the Finance Minister's power to impose taxes on the product.
Now to go for a quick break and we'll return shortly with sports news. To stay with us.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome back to the sports segment. Hazakes Ladies has become the first ever women's football club in Africa to secure qualifications to the semi-finals of the CAF Women's Champions League. The Ghanaian club secured a place in the semi-finals after thumping Mali's AS Monday in their second group game of the ongoing Total Energies CAF Women's Champions League in Cairo.
Hazakes Ladies have booked a spot in the last four of the maiden edition of CAF Women's Champions League and have become the first ever women's football club in Africa to secure qualification to the semi-finals of the CAF Women's Champions League. The dual ladies won their first group game, brushing aside Malabokians, and needed 3 more points to secure qualification to the next stage. Evelyn Badu placed Hazakes ahead with a quick finish, a low drive into the bottom corner of the Monday's net in the early minutes before Perpetual Ajekum netted the second on the day and her second in the competition in the final stages of the first half. Hazakes navigated the rest of the first half without any challenges and oozed class on the pitch. The second half resumed with the same characteristics as the first half, as Yusuf Basigi's team kept on mounting pressure on Asmande. Evelyn Badu once again connected with Veronica Pierre's pass from a close range to make it 3-0 for the Ghanaian club. Head coach of Hazakes Ladies Yusuf Basigi after the game said his opponents came into the game with a mindset to frustrate his tactical player.
Our opponent is Monday. They came with a mindset that is to frustrate our tactical play. So at a point it worked for them, but for experience that we have, we were able to get all that we needed because they came with a different mindset, and you see that they were frustrating our game. So our game was not flowing, but all the same, we did the needful. I play match after match, so my next focus is on the next opponent. So as and when we progress, then we strategize against our opponent. So for me, until the ultimate, there is no any turning point. So no complacency, and we are match focused.
Evelyn Badu made history by becoming the first player to score a brace in 2 successive games in the competition and now leads the goal-keen chart with 4 goals and has also been named Woman of the Match 2 times in their 2 games. Evelyn Badu also congratulated the technical team and players.
Today, I'm really excited for winning Player of the Match for the second time, and I dedicate this award to my teammates, technical team, my mom in the house, and Samira Suleiman. I'm extremely excited.
Hazakes Ladies have become the first team to qualify to the last 4 of the competition with 1 game to spare. Up next for Hazakes is Egypt. It's Egypt Wadi Degla on Thursday.
Adoatv Boxing Gym was once the best boxing gyms. I beg your pardon. It has its own boxing history and records. This is where legends, the likes of Azuma Nelson Ikote, David Poison Kote, among others, nurtured their boxing craft. Shakur Samed, Mike Nelson, and new boxing sensation Yusuf Saidu are aiming to be in the spotlight and make Adoatv Boxing Gym a great hub of boxers again.
Akotoku Boxing Academy, home to Ghana's world champions, is still counted among the best in the country. For nearly 50 years, Akotoku has produced some of the world's greatest boxers. Founded in 1974 by the late Francis Atukwe Clottey, Akotoku is where legends such as Azuma Nelson, Ike Kote, Kpakpo Alote, and late Francis Kote nurtured their boxing craft. The gym now has boxers such as Shakur Samed, who represented Ghana at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Junior Olympian Alfred Kote, Mike Nelson, aka Mayweather, a new sensation Yusuf Seidu, a super featherweight prospect from Akotoku Academy, was discovered by scouts of the Akotoku Academy, led by Tio Edwin Ado, and has won a title in Nigeria. The boxer, speaking to Adoa News, shed light on his training routine. What keeps him motivated?
In Ghana, in boxing, we have a lot of challenges facing the Ghana Boxing Authority. But personally, professional as a boxer, what motivates you to continue to do what you are doing?
Well, I come from an object of a poverty, and if I look my back, I look my front, I have nothing to do. I have completed JHS, but I never get. We are having financial problems, so I never get to continue SHS. So I said to myself, I'll do boxing and I'll make sure I reach to the top level, and that's what keeps me going. To get to my dreams and reach to the top level and have a world title for Ghana.
Programs they put you through so that you become a world champion for us one day?
Well, Adoa Academy is one of the best gyms in Ghana. It has produced lots of world champions, likes of Azuma Nelson, Ikote, and many more. We don't have many equipment here, but our coaches and our head coaches have very good experience and they look after us very well. We do sparring. We have work power. We have powers. We do a lot of training, physical conditions and everything. So they prepare us very well before any fight we had. I'm aiming to reach to the top level. I want to be myself. My idol is Sugar Ray Robinson. He's a former US world champion, but I'm aiming to reach the top level and be me. Well, I have a manager. His name is Edwin Amakwado. He stays at Australia and he's my current manager. He's the one who takes off my everything and everything I want. He's the one who afford it, and he's my current manager. We are working. We are aiming to get a US contract very soon. Then we will reach to the state and make our dreams come reality. We still have a long way to go. I think where I'm now, I'm comfortable here. I have won all my fights with knockouts. There's no anybody who have competed any rounds with me. Yes, all my fights. I think I haven't complete round 4 with anybody. All my fights, round 2, round 1, round 3. Yeah, so I'm good here. But as long as we are moving forward, we still need more equipment to train because they are tough opponents at the world. I'm not only training for Ghanaian bosses, I'm training to reach to the top level and fight the world.
3 brothers, 3 Olympic and 9 medals under his family belt. However, the youngest who featured for Ghana Olympic Games after earning 275 points from the last African qualifier in Senegal and finishing 7th on the global ranking, shared his experience from the Olympic Games and how he constantly draws inspiration from his brothers.
I did have a lot of experience, especially the traveling. We had a training with the Japan national team. We exchanged skills. We did sparring together. I learned a lot of new tactics and tactical things from there. And their foods. I did enjoy some of their foods. And although I was aiming to come out with the flying colors, to win a medal at the Olympics game, but it couldn't went the way I wanted it to be. As you can see, we have like 3 coaches here and my dad. So I do have different type of programs. Sometimes I train with my dad, and sometimes I also train with the national team. And when it comes to our club like this, I train with the club coaches. So I do have a lot of programs. I do learn a lot from the program they have been giving to me, and that it's always been the best.
The next 2 to 3 years, where do you want to see yourself?
I always aim big, and if truly, but we haven't planned of me turning a professional yet. But if truly, I'll be turning a professional I'll be turning a professional by 2 to 3 years. I mean, I'll be ranked in the top 10 boxers, and I mean, I'll be aiming for a world title, surely.
So do you look up to?
Mayweather has always been my destiny.
You want to become the next Mayweather?
Yeah, I don't want to become like Mayweather. I want to become more than him.
More than Mayweather.
Yeah.
Sometimes do you take motivation from your brother?
Yeah, sure. You know, they do advise me a lot. You know, they do like to advise me from what they experienced and the mistake they did, for me not to repeat the same mistakes they did when although they are still boxing. You know, they always been my senior brothers, and they have been through a lot more than me, so they always like to, you know, guide me through the right way. Yeah, so they always been helpful.
That's why we draw curtains on the evening news bulletin at 6 p.m. on our studios on the John Evans at Mills High Street. Now, before we go, let's take a look at our top stories. The Minority Voter Caucus of Parliament has expressed disappointment over President Nana Dankwa for the silence over the Keta tidal waves that has displaced thousands of residents and called on appropriate authorities to intervene. Now, government has been urged to fulfill its promise of rehabilitating the Accra Sawam Railway. And also in business, Red Intelligence has said that the government could turn to the Bank of Ghana for financing if it fails to enter the international capital market next year to issue a Eurobond. And in sports also, we threw the spotlight on some amateur boxers in Akotoku, a suburb of Accra, who wants to pursue a career in boxing. Visit our website on www.adoanewsonline.com for more news updates. My name is Anastasia Badu. The news was brought to you by Vena Natural Mineral Water, Yaksing Herbal Center, Dusty Ties and Accessories, and CB Herbal Center. My name is Anastasia Badu. Do have a good evening.